Salvete omnes. This is exercise C of the first and second conjugation start of the year review packet. We are to translate these English verbs into Latin verbs. Let's keep in mind the person, number, tense, and voice. It's basically exercise B, the previous exercise. It's just we're working from the opposite end. So he had been moved. He had been moved. Now we're starting with English. Identify the person, number, tense, and voice, and then translate into Latin. So we want the third person singular because it's he. Had been, that's pluperfect passive. Third person singular, pluperfect passive of moveo, movere, movi, motus. We want the supine stem, motus, motus aum. It's a he, so keep it masculine, motus. And then we want the third person singular helping verb, which would be erat. Motus erat. Motus erat. Number the next one. I am held. I am being held right now. First person singular. It's present tense, present time. It is passive voice. I'm not doing the holding. It's happening to me. Of, we could say habeo, habere, habui, habitus, or we could say teneo, tenere, tenui, tentus. Either habeor or teneor. First principal part of either verb plus the ra, the first person singular, present passive. Ar restur, mor mini untur. You were held. You were held. So we have second person singular, were held. It's not imperfect. That would be you were being held. That would be the imperfect passive. This is just the plain old perfect passive. Second person singular, perfect passive of habeo or teneo. Perfect passive, fourth principal part, so habitus or tentus. And we don't identify a gender here, so go ahead and put all three. It's probably not going to be neuter. Yeah, I realize that, but just go ahead and put all three. So tentus aum or habitus aum. Were held, the helping verb is going to be the present of sum, so it's s. Tentus aum s or habitus aum s. They will be seen. They will be seen. This is equivalent to they will seem. They will seem to be a certain way is equivalent to they will be seen to be that way. So they is third person plural. It's future and passive of video, videre, vidi, visus. So vide buntur, vide buntur. Present stem vide plus buntur, vide buntur. They will have been frightened. They will have been frightened. So you can use timeo, timere, timui, no fourth principal part, to be timuerent. Timuerent, they will have been frightened. They will have been afraid. Third person, plural, future perfect. And it's going to be active because timeo means to be afraid. It is a verb that means to be a passive, in a passive state, to be afraid. If you wanted to use terreor, terreri, terui, territus, that means to terrify, to scare, to frighten, your answer is going to be third person, plural, future perfect, passive of terreor. So territi, I, and then erunt will be the helping verb. Territi, I, erunt. So it depends on which verb you pick, either timeo or terreo. She was warned. She was warned. So we have third person singular, and it's feminine. So perfect passive. So we want the fourth principal part of moneo, monere, monui, monitus. So we want monita. And she was warned, so perfect passive. Monita est. Monita est. It is shown. It is shown. If we're going by the verbs in the vocab, they want dokeo here. So it will be the third person singular present passive of dokeo, which would be doketor, doketor. But if your first inclination was to reach for demonstro, your answer would be demonstrator, demonstrator. They were being held. They were being held. It was happening in the past, habitually, continuously. They were being held. So third person plural, imperfect. This is the imperfect passive. There's a being, ben, held of habeo, habere, habui, habitus, or teneo, tenere, tenui, tentus. So habebantur or tenebantur. He has been held back. He has been held back. Third person singular, and I note it's masculine, has been. This is going to be perfect passive. The perfect passive of retineo, retinere, retinui, retentus. So we want retentus aum, fourth principal part, masculine, so retentus, the masculine. And because it's perfect passive, retentus est. Retentus est. He has been held back. Perfect passive. She will be carried. She will be carried. To carry is porto, portare, portavi, portatus. She will be carried. Third person singular. I note it's feminine gender, but we don't need to worry about that for the future passive. So future passive, porta, and then bitur, portabitur. They have been saved. They have been saved. Third person plural, perfect passive of servo, servare, servavi, servatus. Servati I sunt. Servati I sunt. They have been saved. He has been defeated. He has been defeated. Third person singular, perfect passive. It's masculine gender of supero, superare, superavi, superatus. Fourth principal part, superatus, make sure it's masculine us, superatus, and because it's perfect passive, superatus est. Superatus est. We are being freed. We are being freed. It's happening to us right now. We're not doing the freeing, it's passive voice. First person plural, present passive of libero, liberare, liberavi, liberatus. Liberamur. Liberamur, we are being freed. They were being carried. They were being carried. There's a being, Ben. Third person plural, imperfect passive of porto, portare, portavi, portatus. So we want porta, then the ba for the imperfect, and untur, portabantur, portabantur. They were being carried. You will be praised. You will be praised. That is second person, singular. Future, passive of laudo, laudare, laudavi, laudatus. Present stem being lauda. Add the beris, bor, beris, bitor, bimor, bimini, buntor. Beris, B-E-R-I-S. Laudaberis. Laudaberis. And finally, the last one, it has been prevented. It has been prevented. Third person singular. I note the gender is neuter. Has been is perfect passive. Prevent is prohibeo, prohibere, prohibui, prohibitus. Neuter would be prohibitum. And then has been, we want est. Third person singular. Present of sum for the perfect passive. Prohibitum est. Prohibitum est. Optime, very well done. That should pretty much wrap it up for first and second conjugation verbs. Make sure you review your vocabulary and also the endings, how to form these verbs.